Yaakov is sick. He believes that he is about to die. He calls Yosef to his bedside and he says, Ve'asita imadi chesed ve'emet. Do for me kindness and truth. Don't bury me in Egypt. And the rabbis, quoted by Rashi, focus on that word, chesed ve'emet, that hybrid word. And they say, what is a truthful kindness? It is the acts we do for those who have died. It is a purely motivated kindness because we don't expect anything in return. It is free from any anticipation of reciprocity. Now, I think that this chesed ve'emet hybrid is something that can occur in multiple ways at the time of death, and not about the emet focusing on the motivation, but on an emet that is achieved. When someone is dying, there's an opportunity there to achieve an emet, to allow the person to die a good death because of a living up, achieving a type of a truth. If there is a relationship that has been injured, how can that be work to maybe repair that? How can family members help to repair that relationship so the person doesn't die feeling that something is broken that needs to be whole? And also, how do we allow that person to express their own emet that they have realized in life? As one of our chaplains in the field opened my eyes to, there is a concept of ethical wills that nobody does nowadays, write out an ethical will at the time of death. But how do we ask questions and say, what are the lessons that you've learned in the course of your life? Talk about your life, talk about the lessons, and then allow those lessons to be passed down, record them to the next generation. That is a chesed that we are doing to allow this person to achieve their emet. And there's one final chesed ve'emet, and that is when a person is dying, when a mother, a father is in the process of dying, do we allow ourselves to acknowledge the truth of that situation and allow ourselves to let go because that is what that person needs? Halacha talks about the idea that we cannot hasten a death, but we can also not stand in the way of somebody who is dying. You can't shorten a life, but you can't prolong a death. And of course, there are halachic discussions about types of interventions and removing interventions, but assuming the halacha is addressed, often people hesitate to allow the death to occur. And a woman once called me, and she knew that this is what she needed to do for her mother. Her mother was suffering in the process of dying. She knew she had to allow it to happen rather than have unnecessary medical interventions, but she was feeling terribly guilty. And I said to her, this is the most tremendous chesed you can do for your mother. You can acknowledge the emet and allow your mother to no longer suffer and not to prolong a death. Allow her to step back and allow her to die. This is a chesed shel emet that we can do for those who are dying.